Hi there. My name is Elisa, and I want to talk to you about Sophia's Be Your Own Psychic course. So, I was in her very first class. I think it was her very first class ever, and it was in English, and it was amazing. It really changed my life. So, let me talk to you about how I decided to take her course. So, I had been on a spiritual journey for a couple years, and I just knew I knew there was a way to talk to spirit guides, and I just really wanted that connection. I wanted to be able to talk to my guides. I wanted to be able to get advice from them. I was really struggling with just feeling like I was on the right track, on the right path, and I knew I needed to find a way to talk to my guides and get that guidance. So I started with meditation, and I started taking classes at the Den in Los Angeles, if anyone is in Los Angeles. And that's actually where I met Sophia. She and I both volunteered there. So we would volunteer, work for a few hours, and then we would get to take unlimited classes. So that's how I met Sophia. And I met her just after she had taken a course very similar that was all about opening up your intuition. And she was also working with the Akashic Records, which was something that I wanted to work with as well. And I remember her just saying, like, oh, yeah, like my guides are telling me this, or my guides are telling me that, like about you, like the person she was talking to. And I was so jealous. I was like, oh my gosh, like she just hears her guides like all the time, just like randomly, like, oh, my guide just said this. And I was like, I want that. I want that. So I did a reading with her. I got an Akashic Records reading from her, and it was amazing. I could feel that I was in the records with her. Everything she said made so much sense. And it helped just build that level of trust for me that, like, okay, she knows what she's doing. Like, I had this amazing reading with her. And so I had been looking into taking the same course that she had taken. And at the time, and this is like a year or two later, and I was looking into taking this course when Sophia was like, hey, I'm going to be offering my own course. And I looked at hers and I looked at the other course, and they were basically the same, and they were almost like the same cost as well. So I was like, okay, well then what makes one better over the other? And honestly, it's what Sophia says about how growing up, she never felt like she was connected to her guides or to her intuition or anything like that. She talks about, I say she was like a muggle, right? To use the Harry Potter terms. She was a muggle. And she never really had any sort of connection. And then I had a reading with her, and I watched and I saw her amazing connection. And I was like, okay, well, if she can have this amazing connection when she didn't have anything before, well, then so can I. And honestly, that is what really made me decide, like, okay, I'm going to take this course, because I watched her take this course, her own course, essentially on opening up intuition and learning about the Akashic Records to now teaching it. And I watched her go through this process, and I was like, well, if she can do it, I can do it, right? if she had no connection before and now has this amazing connection, well, then why can't I? So I was really set on taking this course, but then there was the issue of money. And I was so afraid, because I had taken courses before that, I paid this money and I was so excited about, and then it just did not deliver. And it just feels like such a waste of money, and it's so disappointing. And I was so worried about that. And so I told Sophia, I told her, I was like, hey, I'm really worried. Like, can we talk? Can I talk to you on the phone about this? And she was like, yeah, of course. Like, let's talk about it. And so she did, and I think we were on the phone for like 20 to 30 minutes, and I just told her my concerns and that I was really worried. I was like, what if this doesn't work for me? Like, what if I go through this whole course and my intuition, nothing happens, and like I can't talk to my guides, and it's just like it doesn't work. What if it doesn't work and I just spent all of this money? And she was like, well, then we'll find a way. If it doesn't work, she told me, she's like, I will keep working with you to find a way to make it work, but I promise you it will work. And so she was like, we can work outside of the class if it doesn't work for you. Like, she was so dedicated, because for her, it wasn't about the money. It was about helping me and helping all of her students. It's not about the money. And so having that conversation with her made me realize that. I was like, wow, she really isn't doing this for money. She's doing it because she genuinely wants to help me and wants to help everyone that comes to her and wants to open her intuition. So before the class, I did not trust my intuition at all. I didn't even really know that I had intuition. The only thing that I knew was that sometimes I would get this feeling that I didn't know how to explain, and it was like my soul talking to me. And when I get this feeling, it's like this deep, deep truth within me. And sometimes I say something that maybe I've never said before, and as it's coming out of my mouth, I realize, oh, this is so true on like a soul level, and I can feel it within me, and I usually start to cry because that's just kind of how it works for me. And that's the only thing that I knew that was like my intuition, or the thing that like let me know, okay, I am connected in some way, but I just don't really know how. And so what this course did for me is it really helped me learn how to trust that feeling and everything else that comes along with it. I felt like all the time I heard people on podcasts or on Instagram, and they talk about like how connected they are, and oh, I see all of these things and I hear all of these things, and it's because, and they say these things because everyone experiences their own intuition differently, and I didn't really know that until this course. We don't really have the right language to be able to say exactly what it is that we experience. It's like our language is so limited. So a lot of people will say, oh, I saw this in the records, or in anything, in their intuition. I closed my eyes and I'm tuning into your energy, and this is what I see. Right? And when someone says, this is what I see, to me that means, oh, they're seeing like a movie, right? Like when you're watching a movie, you close your eyes and there's a movie there. But I don't experience that. When I close my eyes and you say, if someone tells me, imagine an apple, I don't see an actual apple in my mind. I don't see the color red or green or whatever color your apple is. I don't know, maybe it's yellow. I don't see that. I get like this general shape, maybe. It's almost like looking at shadows in the dark. So everything is black, and then I see a black shadow. That's what I see when I am connecting to my intuition. I'm not seeing what other people see. But when I'm doing a reading for someone, the language that I use is, I see this. And so I didn't know that. I didn't know that until going into this course that like, oh, okay, I don't see a movie in my mind, and that's okay. I don't need to see a movie in my mind to be seeing things. I also don't hear things. I learned that it's more of a thought. It almost is like an idea. An idea. That's what it sounds like in my mind, but I know it's not coming from me. I know it's coming from somewhere else. So it's like all of these things that I learned through this course. The other thing is I feel like Sophia really takes her time talking about the basics, which I don't know about you, but like I knew the basics, but I didn't know the basics, right? Like grounding. Everyone talks about grounding. You hear it on social media, you hear it on podcasts, everyone talks about grounding. But like, what is grounding, right? So that's one of the things that Sophia goes through. There's an entire class dedicated to learning how to ground yourself. And it may not be the most like exciting thing, but wow, is grounding really, really important. It's the foundation, one of the foundations of opening up your own psychic abilities, of trusting your intuition. And if you don't start with the basics or the foundation, you can't go any further. And so that's what I really learned through this course. Now that the class is over, like, it was so worth it, and it's honestly the best course I've taken and totally worth every penny because I learned so much. I opened my intuition and I talk to my guides now just like I wanted. And it also helped me in other areas of my life and in other areas of spirituality that I've moved into, like reading the Akashic Records. And so opening up my intuition has also helped me open up my heart and change the way that I see myself, see others, relate to people. And it's just continuing to open things up for me. The last thing I want to say is what's really, really important is the practice. Sophia gives you all of the tools, but you have to practice. And that was something I was super dedicated to, was practicing on my own. Whenever she gave us a new tool, that week I made sure to use it at least once, hopefully a few times. And the tools build on each other. So the first week you only have one thing to practice. The second week then you have 2, third week 3, fourth week 4, and they build on each other. So if you can dedicate just a tiny bit of time, honestly, it's like 1 hour a day. That's what I was doing, 1 hour a day, but you could even just do 1 hour a week to really like practice these tools. That was huge for me. And I know that practicing is a big part of why every time I got a new tool, it felt relatively easy. And it just felt like it was so natural. And it's because I practiced. So anyway, if you've been on the fence about taking this course, I really recommend it. I would not be making this video if it didn't truly change things for me. And if you still don't believe this video, like, go ahead and send me a message on Instagram or find me somehow and ask me, and I will tell you the same thing. It really changed my life. It has opened up so much for me, and I really recommend it. So yeah, I hope you take it, and I hope you enjoy.